Welcome back to another episode of Business Journey Log. Today I'm joined by Ashi Mitteldorf, founder and CEO of FloorTech. Ashi brings a unique background in human resource, business management, team leadership, sales, and strategic planning, specializing in helping organizations achieve safer, more functional environments by eliminating slip and fall risk in complex, high traffic settings. Ashi, welcome to the show.
Hi, nice to be here.
So with floor tech, what exactly
You there?
is
I think
the whole
you just.
scope of it? Why'd you start in the first place with floor tech?
So can you hear me?
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Hello? You hear me? Yeah.
Yeah, I can hear you. Hello? Yeah, I can hear you.
Hello? Okay, great. It's actually an interesting it came about through an interesting way. I used to be in a completely different
Hey, I
industry.
can hear you.
It was
Yeah.
okay, I was in a different industry completely, and
Oh, wow, look at that. Where's my Hello?
hello?
Hey. I don't know why that happened. That was kind of weird. Oh, actual recording is higher
Hello?
quality. Okay, now there's no picture.
You
There
hear
you
me?
go. Yeah, I can hear you. All right. Did you go on your phone?
I'm using my phone now.
All right, awesome. Yeah, I don't know. It's weird with the Wi-Fi, but yeah, I was just about to call you. All right, yeah. So let's just start over. All right,
Okay. There's a little bit of an echo on your from I hear a little bit of an echo, but I can deal with that.
on my end. Uh, how's it now? Can you hear echo on my end?
No, hello?
Hey, can you hear echo on my end?
I hear a little bit of an echo on your end, but it's fine. I could deal with it, I think.
That's weird. Why is there an echo? All right, yeah, that's fine. Then we can still pursue. Okay. Welcome back to another episode of Business Journey Unlocked. I'm here with Ashi Mitteldorf, founder and CEO of FloorTech. Ashi brings a unique background in human resources, business management, team leadership, sales, and strategic planning, specializing in organizations achieving safer, more functional environments by eliminating slip and fall risk in high traffic areas. Ashi, welcome to the show.
Hi, hi, nice to be here. Thank you for having me.
My pleasure, my pleasure. So what exactly was the whole scope into FloorTech? What initially prompted you from establishing this business in the first place?
So I was in a completely different industry before this. An industry I was working really with like custom medical equipment, where I was helping individuals with special needs, and I enjoyed the idea of helping out people and finding a solution to people's problems. And for whatever reasons, I chose to leave that industry, and I was trying to come up with an idea. What can I do that I can help people, but at the same time, I have good connections and I have a lot of friends and people that I know in real estate and in nursing homes. So I was trying to come up with an idea of what can I do to facilitate and help both those industries, people that own real estate and involved in real estate, and people that own involved in healthcare and different things like that. And somehow, the idea came across. This idea of creating a safer environment, creating safer floors, because all real estate has floors, all nursing homes, all facilities have floors, and the risks of slip and falls and the dangers that are associated with that are pretty high. And I figured, let me see what I can do to help eliminate those. And I came up with this, this idea came across, and we moved forward with that. And that's where we're holding now. And where I began FloorTech is the idea that I can create a business that's creating safer environments, safer floors for many different industries, plus, residential and commercial as well, not just, limiting it to that, but really to everyone.
Interesting. So, was there anything specifically that you saw in that space that was missing, which initially wanted you to go into this route?
It was really like the way things came about. It wasn't really like I wasn't like directly thinking about floors when I was looking into what to do. It was just a broad spectrum of different ideas of what I can do. And when I came across the idea of this solution to that problem, it resonated with me. And I thought it would be something good. And in looking into different options, what else is out there, what I do is significantly different and significantly better than what a lot of the competitors that I'm dealing with. It's there's very limited, very little, very few people doing what I do. So that's a good thing and it's a bad thing. But and overall, what I do is incredible and makes it it's a much it creates a significant improvement as opposed to some of my competitors.
See, I enjoy the fact that before you started this company, you knew nothing about this industry. You kind of just went into it with open arms. With that in mind, what was the hardest system to implement in your business that has allowed you to achieve the success you were going into? Because from the point of view is a lot of people look at the skill sets before going into business, but given the skill sets you had, it wasn't really in scope to floor tech. What was the hardest part into achieving the framework, the structure of everything?
So really, the hardest part about getting this my I mean, getting my business, out there, is the idea that it's needed. A lot of people have just gone with the assumption a wet floor is slippery, and you just put out a cone, you put out a sign, and that's just what it is. So the hard part of going into this industry is creating the awareness, the public awareness that a slippery floor is not just something you just write off. Okay, it's a slippery floor, and that's what it is. That there are solutions to that, um, and that our business, what we do that's the hard part, is getting it out there, making people aware of a more unique new concept. I found that to be the hardest part of my business. Um, for me, obviously it was a learning curve because, like I said, I was in a completely different industry, and coming into this, learning the ropes and learning the field of this industry was something new. But that's something for me. I have no problem jumping into something new. The foundation of business is business, and you just have to apply it to different things.
I agree. I agree with that. With the systems and principles that you have within your business, comparing other competitors, what's something, either the system or the principle within floor tech, that's a non-negotiable in your practice?
That's why that's non-negotiable.
Yes, sir.
Um, That's non-negotiable. I'm not. If I understand your question correctly, what I believe is that I stand behind my product 100%, and and that I will make sure that my product, my service meets to 100% satisfaction. Because it's a little bit of a complicated situation in terms of what I do, because we treat, like I say, practically all types of floors. Um, the issue comes up with certain types of floors that we have some complications treating, and because I stand behind my product, if there's ever an issue, I will make it very clear. I'm very transparent. I communicate exactly from beginning to end, so there's never any surprises. And if for whatever reason I don't think my product will work to the best, I tell the client or the customer that it won't work, and I'll say no to a case where I know it's not going to be satisfactory. Even though it always is. The only complications where there are is if, let's say, someone seals the floor, not allowing my treatment to work. I'll tell them up front, this type of floor has, was made a certain way that's not going to allow my treatment to do its magic, and therefore it won't work. And I'm not going to like do the work and say, oh, it's not as good, but I know I did the work. You have to pay me. I like to show the results. I take pride and passion in what I do, and and our results and our accomplishments, and I don't settle for anything less. So if I don't think it's going to be perfect, I let them know from the beginning, and I won't do the job.
And that's also being a good businessman too, because it's not only wasting your time, but it's also wasting the potential vendor's time as well. Because from the fact is, you don't want to do your magic on these type of surfaces that won't adhere to the materials you have within your chemicals and the ingredients. Because if it's not a viable solution, it's just wasting their time, wasting your time, and wasting the other person's money as well. And with
Right.
those
It's
2
it's wa-
factors as well.
it's wasting their money. It's wasting my money,
Uh-huh.
and it looks bad. I want 100% satisfaction. I want all my reviews to say it's amazing. But if someone says, "Oh, he did it," and I don't feel it, it doesn't work, that just looks bad on my. And I think the customers appreciate when I tell them, "I'm sorry, what I do is not going to work for you," and they'll say, "Oh, I appreciate the honesty," and they'll use me for a different project, and they'll use me for a different area in their building or home or whatever case may be. So I found that the honesty and transparency is key for everyone.
I agree 100% with the honesty and transparency. There's a lot of people out there that are just money hungry, that look at the money
Exactly.
and just try to get as much as possible. But from the fact is,
Exactly.
the way I view it as a byproduct. If you truly enjoy what you do, if you truly enjoy the results you get from your services and products, the money will follow you. Time will
Right.
tell.
Right. Many times where I told the client that I don't think it's going to work on this floor, or I don't think it's going to work so well on this floor, we pushed it off, and I got a call a week or so later for a bigger project or something else that they wanted, and it worked great, and they were very happy and satisfied with that.
That's amazing. I love those type of stories because even though you went in initially for that certain service, you said I couldn't do this, but then you got them on to something else, which is beautiful. It shows a true pivot in the business, especially you're in. With the industry shifts that you're seeing in the services you provide, what's changing beneath that industry that isn't necessarily obvious right now, but in the future it could cause a problem for other people in the same business as you?
I don't think so. I think in my industry, actually, as I grow and as I get bigger, I think more people actually hear about me and reach out to me more. And I think my industry will grow in the fact that I think previously, before I've been getting out there, a lot of like I said before, the issues I've been coming across is that people didn't know I exist. When people have like in their building and their hospital or nursing home, and their slip and falls, so their solution is let's get better shoes, or their solution is let's put strips out, or let's put like these matted things. Let's change the floors. I've come across where many people I've done people have private pools. They wanted to change all the tiles, spent thousands and thousands of dollars just to change the flooring, and when they find out, oh, there's a solution that they don't need to do a drastic change for a relatively I'm priced pretty well for, relatively compared to the, doing different construction to change things. We can save the problem and have the same looking, great looking floors, and they can use me and not have to make such big changes. I think people are becoming more aware of this, and as time goes on, I think people will, find out more. And as I'm spreading out, that people are finding out the idea of my business. It's not something an AI can take over. So it's not like I'm worried that I mean, maybe robots might start doing the actual physical labor, but I'm not going to have an AI. I'm not going to have AI taking over, changing the physical, change of the texture of floors. So I think as time goes on and the shift in society, I think there's a lot of technology shifting. But in terms of, some physical changes, people are going to slip. No matter how advanced our computer systems are, a wet floor is a wet floor. So, as we progress and time goes on, I think the need for some physical things like making floors safer. I don't think the shift in time is going to make that any less. I think like just in terms of public awareness of what we do, I think things will only get better for us.
I agree, and you briefly touched on your job won't necessarily be taken away from AI. Anything manual based with construction, with the type of industry you're in as well, AI can help in certain aspects, but it won't completely eliminate what you do, and that's the beauty of your
Right.
business too.
Right.
It's sort of protected, so to speak.
Exactly.
With
I think it's right. Sorry. AI
well,
will help our back end and our softwares, but our actual physical labor, we still need human hands.
I agree. With starting this podcast, I've had a multitude of CEOs and founders come on and talk about the challenges in their business. You briefly touched on it with from the fact is people didn't know who you were from the beginning, and as time goes on, your credibility starts building, and that initially starts inertia with the momentum. Almost everything boils down to two different areas: sales and lead gen, as you're most aware of, and obviously fulfillment and delivery. If you could fix one thing within your business right now going into 2026, what would that be? What would that look like?
I wouldn't say fix, but improve is my ability to get out there, is my ability to bring awareness to the masses. So far, my business, we're doing well, and it's a progress. So it's a relatively new business, but I'm trying hard to get out there into the bigger, picture. So I have my local people, my some, the my different facilities and different buildings and different organizations and businesses that I'm doing. My goal really is to get out there, hit all the skyscrapers, and get into maybe some government contracting and things like that to grow, to bring it to the next step. So I think that's where as a smaller business, I need that's my goal, and that's the, I guess, the obstacle that I'm working on, is to grow and bring awareness to the bigger people, and where I can help the society on a much larger scale.
There's a lot of people in your similar stance that are so focused on having the perfect execution, building their network, as you were mentioning before. But from the fact is, if they're so consumed on being perfect before actually executing, they're never going to execute. They have to start somewhere. And especially
Right.
given your situation, trying to rise up within your industry, you have to start somewhere. You have to build the credibility, build that inertia as we agree with the momentum and just continue growing and growing. And then you eventually will hit the governmental contracts. But essentially you got to start at the pools, you got to start at, all the other mom and pop shops in order to gain that credibility, in order to work at the skyscrapers, to work at the government buildings. It starts somewhere,
Exactly.
and there's a lot of people that want to get to the end result, but you have to go through the journey in order to get to the end. And that's
Right.
the most beautiful
Exactly.
thing that I like from you.
Yeah. So exactly. I mean, like I said, that's my goal. That's where I'm going. But like as I get there, I have to build this foundation, like you said, with the mom and pops and the smaller businesses, just to build the credibility, build my, and my provability, like to prove myself that this works, and then eventually, and that's my goal, is to grow and to hit the big businesses.
Over the course of your career, even though floor tech is new within your professional development, what way of thinking has most consistently helped you make the right decisions under pressure?
It's very simple. Be honest. I keep things very legit, very honest, very sincere. If I, Once you start creating ways to finagle, whatever, I feel like it snowballs out of control. As long as I'm honest and I keep things legit and proper, it's always much easier just to keep going. Because if I create lies, I create, you know, you know, trying to, I get, I don't know what the word is. Once I'm not, being honest with myself, the clients, and my product, then you start creating these fake things. Once I keep things legit, honest, and real, it's a much easier process to keep following, to keep growing.
It's just being transparent, and transparency is the key to success. Even if it's a hard pill to swallow in certain situations, would you rather be transparent and not get the client, or would you rather lie, get the money, and then have poor results? Because as you mentioned before, you had a previous client who you initially said, "I can't do this," but then you came on to something else.
100%, 100%. I recently had a deal where I had a massive facility that was they wanted me to do a work for them, and their floors were basically rubber floors. I can't say names of the companies. It was basically rubber floors throughout, and the product doesn't work on rubber floors. It works on hard material, on tile, stone. And I told them, I said, it's I wish it worked. I wish it did it. I'm not going to even try because I'm telling you it's not going to work. And they were so appreciative. I went down there. I showed them. I even went down to this facility just to show them, and it didn't work. And I told them it wasn't going to work, and they knew it was. There was no like, no shocking moments because I was very transparent telling them, and they were so blown away by it that that I was so honest with him because it was a lot of money I could have made just by trying, and I ended up not doing it, but I ended up signing a contract with them for a very big deal. That wasn't as big as it could have been if I would have been using the other way, but it was still a significant, very nice job. And it was because I built a rapport by being honest and being transparent with them.
Exactly. Before we wrap up here, going on a personal side, your personal development, besides being transparent in the business world, what's one habit or belief that you carry day to day that has allowed you to get the success you've earned so far within your life, within the business of floor tech?
That I believe very strongly whatever I do, I have a mission, and my mission is the mission is to do good and find ways to help people. And in any career I've ever done, if it was something that I didn't feel like I'm giving to someone, and I'm giving someone like I'm walking away from this deal and they're benefiting, I didn't enjoy it. I like to make sure that the end result is ends with someone being in a better place than they were beforehand. So there were throughout my career, there were some areas that I've done business in that I just didn't feel it, and I left it because I didn't feel accomplished. And when I was working in medical supplies, I felt accomplished because I created and designed medical supplies for special needs, and I felt very good about it. Here too, when I'm done and I finished when I finish servicing the client, I know that their floors are safer, and nothing's 100% and nothing's foolproof, but I know that it's safer now. And I know that the person who could have gotten hurt, who could have gotten injured, or could have, or worse, you know, now will be safer because of what I've done. Like I said, my product makes floors safer. It doesn't change or it doesn't alter or change the look of the floors. Doesn't change anything other than making the floors safer, making floors when they're slippery not wet. So I know when someone's taking a shower, or a kid or adult or an elderly person. I know I did my parents' bathroom, their showers to make sure they're in their 70s, and when they take a shower, you worry. You don't want to get a phone call, someone slipped in the shower, and God forbid something, things can go really bad. Knowing that I, service my parents' bathroom and knowing that they're showering safer makes me feel better. And it just, different, going to different facilities, going to nursing homes, knowing that a nursing home is safer and there's me, a less risk of someone, a slip and fall. Slip and falls lead to injuries. Slip and falls lead to lawsuits. Slip and falls lead to deaths. And if I can help avoid that, help a business, not get lawsuits, help an individual not get hurt, I feel good about that. And that's on a personal level, for me to run a business that I know I'm making a difference and helping someone, to me, that's important.
That's beautiful. For anyone who's listening or watching this, what's the best place for them to reach out to you and or floor tech?
So our website is www.floortechusa.com, FLOORTEKUSA.com. Or you can email me, Ashi at floortechusa.com, ASHI at floortechusa.com. Or they can call us 929-545-5295.
Excellent. Thank you so much. I really do appreciate you
Thank,
taking the time to talk to me, Ashi.
thank you for having me. I appreciate it.